Yeah, y'all doing out there in video land? This Stiletto coming at you from the Wild Wild West. Well, just a little chat video, and an update video. Update on my frenzy. This is my new frenzy, one of the newest members to my mega folder collection. My new frenzy. This was purchased this year. Same time I purchased the Espada, the large Espada. I went ahead and snaggle-toothed it. And what kind of draw did I set it up for? Reverse draw, right side pocket, or left side draw. Absolutely love it, people. Frenzy is one of my favorite knives because they weigh under 6 ounces. It's the lightest mega folder. This one I brought out too. It's another one of my favorite. It's not really a mega folder because it's a 4.5-inch blade, but it's bigger than what's legal to. Well, I can carry this legally, but it might cause some issues if the police thought they can confiscate because it's over 4 inches. That's the rules where I live, in the 916 area of Sacramento and Northern California. We don't have a blade limit, but we do. All the towns and the different jurisdictions in California, especially like the cities with over 1 million people in them. And my area has I don't know, probably about 3 or 4 million. My neighborhood has 63,000 or something like that. I remember I looked it up one time. But we have gangs in our cities. And so most of the big cities will have rules about blade limits because of the gangs. Because gangs carry knives and firearms and things like that. So we got rules to combat the gangs. That's just the way it is, people. And whenever you live in a major city, it's not like when you live out in a farm area or agricultural area or what do you call it, a rural area where you don't have that many people and you don't have that much crime that you don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. And because I used to spend the summers in the country with my grandpa's ranch, and we had some property right next to his ranch. And when I was a little kid, I used to carry guns and stuff like that because my pops always believed that, when you go wandering around down in the creek and stuff to go fishing and stuff, you should have a gun because there's wild animals like mountain lions and bobcats, coyotes, and things like that. We even used to have bears. So we always carried guns. I got my first gun when I was 5 years old. It was a 410 Beretta single-shot shotgun. I used to outshoot everybody with the pumps and automatics. I got really good with that single shot. I've always liked manual things, people. And I think it's because of my childhood when I had to use manual guns. Everybody else, my pops had a Remington 1100 that he used to use for dove hunting, and because we used to hunt all the different seasons: doves, quails, ducks, geese, everything. Deer, everything, cottontail. And so we had all kinds of guns, for hunting and stuff like that. And I grew up, I learned how to shoot before I learned how to swim. I started shooting when I was 3 years old or something like that. That's when I got BB gun. And my pops used to train me how to shoot in the spare bedroom. We set up targets and stuff. And we had these little Crossman BB guns, and they looked like 45s. They're pretty heavy. They're made out of metal. And we used to shoot those. We used to shoot those in the bedroom. They weren't CO2s. There's the old type. You had to cock them and stuff. And it was cool. I was all excited when I was a little kid. When I was 5 years old, for Christmas, I got my first shotgun, the 410. When I was 7, I got my first 12 gauge. Got a Sears and Roebuck 12 gauge. It was actually made by Winchester for Sears and Roebuck. 12 gauge pump with a modified choke and a ventilated rib barrel. And that's what I used for years, all the way up until after my pops passed away. And I got out the Army. And then my pops was gone, so I didn't really have the hunting partner like I did. So I sort of stopped hunting and stuff. And then my house got robbed and they stole all the old guns. But, it's a long story, people. So now all the guns I have now are really just for, because I used to competition shoot. I used to competition shoot in cowboy fast draw. And so I have a lot of cowboy guns, cowboy fast draw guns. And I got a few guns for self-defense. But I don't have an armory of guns, people. I have one shotgun, a Remington 1100, not 1100, Remington 870 Magnum 12 gauge pump. And that's set up for, it's a home defense shotgun. It's not set up for hunting. And I don't know, it's a couple of other, snub noses and a couple of automatics. That's about it. Oh, and I got a couple of big Magnum guns too, revolvers. But most of I like manual guns. I know everybody likes the automatics. That's cool, but I like automatics too. Don't get me wrong. I like automatics too. I love my Smith & Wesson 4516-1. That's my favorite. Always shoot perfect with that thing. That my 45, it's a 45 ACP. But I love my manuals. I just like shooting revolvers. I don't know. My first handgun when I was a kid was a high standard 22 long rifle revolver that held 9 rounds. And that's what I used to carry around in the country when I was a kid. This is my new favorite, people. This is a Talwar. These are perfect. These are perfect, people. I know when you first get them, they got that rattle. But if you do my little thing, you get rid of the rattle. This one doesn't have no rattle. After a while, it will wear down and the rattle may come back and you just redo it again. You just redo the rubber cement again. That's all it is. Because or basically like when you take it apart to clean it or re-oil it or re-lube it, you also want to redo the stop pins with a little bit of rubber cement and go through the same ritual. Let it dry for 2 days. That's the trick. You got to let it dry for 2 days so that stuff hardens up and it fills in all the little gaps or whatever. The fitment of that pin, the pin, because it just has a slight little gap, and that's what makes it rattle, because it doesn't fit super tight. And so you just let that just settle, get in there, and just harden up, and it'll take care of that. Remember how it was rattling before? No rattles, people. I love it. I love this one. This one is so fast. It is so. That's why I've always loved the Talwars, because the Talwars are. They're the one of the easiest handling mega folders, if you ask me. And they're also one of the most intimidating too. Doesn't that look intimidating? Huh? And you can stretch it out so you can have a real long reach. And I know it's not a heavy duty blade. It's a fairly, it's a 3.8 millimeter thick blade that's full flat ground. So it's not like a it's not a pry bar, people. This will bend or snap. This is not a pry bar. And it's not a throwing knife. This is not a knife that you throw at trees and stuff, okay? This is not what this is meant for. This is good for like culinary work. If you want to use it like a kitchen knife, like a food prep or that kind of stuff, or cutting up meat and and everything else like that, making steaks or whatever. It's perfect for that. Slicing up barbecue ribs and all that kind of stuff. Perfect for that. This and this one are awesome for that. Highly recommend them for that. That's how I use them often. But this is really meant to be a fighter, people. It's perfectly balanced. All the Talwars are perfectly balanced. Perfectly balanced. Perfectly balanced. It's a beautiful knife, people. And you got 3 grips. You got the forward grip, you got the mid grip, and you got the rear grip. And it's a real solid grip. It's a real solid grip. You really got a good grip. This is an awesome knife. That's why the Talwar is my favorite. It's always been my favorite. I love it. Ever since these came out, they've been my favorite. I know it's not the strongest. Probably a Voyager is probably stronger than this knife. a Voyager or the Espada. The Espada is probably the strongest of all these that you see on this table. This is probably the Espada. The Voyager, the counterpoint's probably stronger. I don't know, you know, it's probably about the same strength as like the Holdout. It's, you know, definitely stronger than any of the liner locks. It's probably about the same strength as like a Frenzy. Because all that this is G10 handle scales, American G10 handle scales, but American G10 is better than like the foreign G10. The American G10 has like the same tensile strength, almost like aluminum. And so it's like, it's very strong. That's the reason why you can make a knife like this without liners in it, because American G10 is so strong. These are the knives that they used to do all the hang tests and everything else like that. I think they used to market these as saying that they would hold like 300 or 400 pounds. I can't remember exactly what it was. I know it's like probably in between 300 and 400 pounds. They used to market these as holding like 400. I think it was 400. And these, I think it was 450. 450 for the Voyagers. And I can't remember what it was for these, but I bet you it was like pretty much like the Voyagers. These were 300 also, I think. 300. And that's foot pounds. Because like all the other advertisers, when you see them saying that something weighs so many can handle so many pounds, they're talking about inch pounds. Inch pounds aren't the same as foot pounds, people. Foot pounds are the real deal. Inch pounds is what makes it sound really good, but it's not really holding all that much weight. These are the ones you want. Absolutely love them. The Talwar. Next up, we got the Holdout. These are all the new ones I bought this past year, within the past year. Mega folders. Got the Holdout up next. This Serrated blade. This one's got a 6-inch blade. It's 3.8 millimeters thick, full flat ground. The blade steel is Japanese AUS 10A blade steel. The Talwar, I forgot to mention the blade steel. The blade steel is CPM S35VM blade steel. And why I say this was Japanese? No, this is CPM. I'm sorry, people. This is CPM S35VN also. I forget pretty much all the G10 ones are all CPM S35VM now, except for the large Espada, and I think that's the reason why I called it Japanese AUSA. This is another one of my favorites too. I like to carry these on the inside of my motorcycle vest. Why? Because they're big and flat. They don't imprint. It's a very awesome knife to carry totally hidden. Nobody knows about it. Looks like a folding short sword. Oh yeah. The Skiing Do. The Skiing Do's, designed after the Scottish Skiing Do. Awesome. There's a knife that people used to carry hidden. There was a fixed blade. This one's a folder. You know, it's a remake. You know, it's a modern rendition of the Scottish Skiing Do, which was a common everyday knife that people used to carry. They used to use it for their food. They used to use it for self-defense. Women used to carry them. Awesome blade. Must have been a tough time. All the women were carrying knives like this. Awesome. 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 Next up. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Another one of my favorites. This is my Espada, my largest Espada. This one I just recently got and modified. Y'all went through all this with me. Absolutely love it. Totally polished this one out. Everything's polished on this one. Totally polished. Absolutely love it, people. One of my favorites. I've carried this one a lot so far. I've been carrying this one a lot too, people. I really, really love the new Talwar. I love the new Talwar. But when I carry something flashy, though, I'll carry this one. Next up. Okay, now we're getting into some of my favorites here. My favorites to carry all the time. Oh, yeah. That's my Serrated Voyager XL. Voyager XL to me is another one of my favorites, people, because it's lightweight and it's inexpensive. This is the most value-friendly, the most budget-friendly one on the table. The only one that can compare with this one in pricing would be one of the Ti-Lites with the Zytel handle scales. This one's got Grivery handle scales, Grivery back spacer. It's fully lined with heat-treated 6061 aluminum liners, full-length aluminum liners. I don't know if you can see in there. This one's been modified. The only modification on this one is the snaggletooth. I love having the snaggletooth on my XL Voyagers, people. I like to carry these in the front right pocket. It's one of my most favorite knives to carry out of all the mega folders. Why? Because I'm not afraid to use these for tools. You know, if you break down somewhere and you need to improvise a screwdriver or something, I will use one of these. Why? Because if I damage it and I can't repair it back to the way it was or better, that's okay, because it only costs $55. It's not like it's gonna be a big loss or something like that. And I have replaced these. I have broken a couple and messed up a couple, and I replaced them. Absolutely love them, people. I never had to replace one of these big ones, but I have replaced a couple of the smaller ones. Because a lot of the smaller ones, lots of times I use them in the garage and stuff like that when I'm doing stuff on my truck or my motorcycles or something like that. I like to tinker on them, just like like to tinker on knives and stuff, and cutting hoses and things like that with them. The Voyager's one is an awesome knife, people, because it's a very inexpensive knife and it's super strong. The lock on this, like I said, it's been tested. I think they used to advertise them at 450 pounds. So it's one of the strongest knives that Cold Steel ever made. And that's 450 foot-pounds, not inch-pounds. Foot-pounds, not inch-pounds. When you always see everybody advertise, it'll withstand 3,000 pounds or whatever. They're talking about inch-pounds, people. They're not talking about foot-pounds. Like a lot of times I hear it's like 1,200 pounds or 1,500 pounds, and that's inch-pounds. Foot-pounds will snap a fixed blade at 1,200 pounds. So, that's not realistic when you're thinking it's 1,200 foot-pounds. It's inch-pounds. Andrew Demko, when he used to do all of his tests, he was always measuring foot-pounds. He used to do actual weights, hang weights, so you saw how many real pounds it was. That's one thing I used to like about his tests. I knew it wasn't BS. Back in those days, I used to lift weights and stuff like that. My younger days, and so I knew what a 45-pound slab looked like. A 25 cast iron slab. Actually, love these. This is my plain edge one. This is the newest one. Absolutely love these Voyagers, people. And the Tonto one is my favorite. I have all of them, but the Tontos have always been my favorite. They're the ones I always carry, is the Tontos. And I always put snaggletooths on them. Another one of my favorites is, the Counterpoint XL. This is the Serrated one. Just like the Grivery handled Voyagers, this one has the Japanese AUS 10A stainless steel. Same thing goes for the largest Espada. That's the one with the Grivery handles that has Japanese AUS 10A stainless steel blades. And that one is the Espada is a great value too. I forgot to mention that, because you can get it for like $120. And for that type of knife and the size of it, The strength of it is well worth it. Absolutely love these two. These feel good in any grip. That's what I sort of like about a stiletto grip, is that it's neutral. And it feels good in any grip. But you always want to have something that, like this one has a little finger groove, so you know where the blade is. Because you don't want the handle to be totally exactly the same. At least I don't. Because I like to know where the blade is. I like to know, when I say the blade, I'm talking about the edge. I should say where the edge is. Because I don't want to be up like this and then put my thumb on here like that, think I'm pushing down on it, and cut up my thumb or something. Absolutely love these. And these are all these new ones, if you ask me, people, they're smoother than the old ones. I have all these models, I have the old ones too, except for this one. But all the other ones, everything else you see on this table, I replaced them, and I sort of wanted to compare them. One of the things I was doing is I was comparing them with the old versions to the new versions, and the new ones are better. I know a lot of people want to say that the old ones are better, but I'm telling you like it is from experience. These are better. The old ones, this one's never been modified. I had to, all my other counterpoints from the original company, I always had to modify them. From the Oz 8s to the CTS BD1s, I had to modify all of them. Because they didn't operate like this. Where it was like easy to push down on the lock bar to release the blade. And this one releases perfectly, people. Listen to the release. Silence. And it has solid lockup. This is solid lockup. There's no play in it at all. The only thing I've done to it is lube and tune it. All these have been lubed and tuned. Because they're all my personal knives I actually do carry whenever I want to carry a mega folder. I'll be carrying one of these. This one I've only carried maybe once or twice. Same thing goes for this one. But I just love them. I just love them. And that's the reason why they're out here, people. And they stay out. They don't go in the safe. This is the plain edge. I might trick this one out. This might be the next one that might be another project. This one might become a project, people. I might trick it out like my old BD1 one. Where I polish I don't polish the blade with sandpaper. I just buff it out to the highest polish I can get by buffing it. And then I'll buff out, I will wet sand the backspacer. This is aluminum backspacer. It's a 6061 heat treated aluminum backspacer. I will polish this all out. And I will polish the lock bar out. And I will polish the spine of the blade all out. When I disassemble it, I will take this all off, this section right here, and then I will buff this all out as high as I can with my buffer. Oh, by the way, people, I got a new buffer. People. Let me show it to you. New buffer. It's heavy too. So now the polishing was going to really get intense. The things I want to polish, I'll be able to polish them better. I used it on this one and this one so far. And then I sort of want to use on my old Stiletto, one that I polished the aluminum handle. I'm going to polish that one all out. It's really fun to use too. All right, people, next up. Getting some serrated blades. Talwars. I love my Talwars. These are like the only liner locks I still carry, are the Talwars. This one right here has CTS, not CTS, but Japanese AUS 10A stainless steel blade with a serrated edge. It's got the Kris blade, 6 inches long, with OD green Zytel handles. Oh, who we got here? Huh? I got my grandson. Huh? Come over here, say hi to everybody. Come say hi. All right. I don't know if they can see you. Because the camera's not pointing at you. All right, go with your mama, Batman. That's Batman, people. This bee's gonna get down. Go ahead, buddy. All right. All right. That was Batman, everybody. I don't know if you got to see him, but that's my grandson, Beagle Bailey. Okay, here we go. Forgot where I left off. Oh, you know what? This isn't Forest Green. I think it's Dark Earth, FDE. I think this is the FDE handle. I always get them mixed up. Because sort of has a mossy look to it, to me. Like, it doesn't really look brown, but I guess maybe I'm a little bit colorblind or something. I don't know. But I love it. I love it. I usually change these to black, but I like this one so much. I like the way that it looked against the stainless steel. It just it just flowed for me, so I just left it like this. And this one is, all stock too, except for, a Lubin. Japanese AUS 10A stainless steel blade. Kris style blades, the Filipino Kris. With the serrated edge. To me, these are the most sinister Ti-Lites. Out of all the Ti-Lites, I think I like these the best. The serrated ones. The serrated Kris. To me, that just looks wicked, people. That looks wicked. And that's what I want in a mega folder. I want it to look wicked. I want it to look scary. I want to strike fear in man's hearts. This is the new one. This one I did swap the handles out. This is G10 handles. I swapped it out with one of my other old G10 ones. With the black. I think I swapped it out with the one with the black CTS6HP one, the one that I used or whatever. Swapped the handles around. Not the one that I collected, but my user. And now it has forest green handle scales on it. Forest green G10 handle scales. Because this is a special edition Lindsey Thompson one of the new ones. The new Bowie blade. Bowie or clip. It's fairly thick too, even all the way up to the tip. But that's how they've always done the Ti-Lites. They've always had thick tips. It's one thing I like about them. They're not meant to be delicate. True fighters. Lindsey Thompson and Andrew Demko, and this is a Phil Boguszewski design. But they always made serious fighting blades, people. They didn't make junk. These are the real deal. These are real big self-defense mega folders. Ones that you can depend on. Now, I know these are liner locks. And liner locks, to me, my favorite lock for a self-defense folder is a triad lock. Obviously, right? I like triad locks for self-defense folders the best. There's other great locks too, like the new Atlas lock and when the Axis lock is done right, that's a really good lock too. And what else? The XR lock from SOG, that lock works really well, which is basically another Axis lock, but it has a flipper. I really like that. And what other great locks are out there? Oh, Shark Lock. The Shark Lock and Scorpion Lock's a good lock too. And I don't know, there's a lot of locks nowadays, people. I'm probably missing all sorts of locks because I'm not even really thinking about it, but it just came out. I just wanted to mention it. But one thing I like about these liner locks is that when they fail, they fold all the way over. And so the knife will go into fixed blade mode instead of the blade folding in on your hand. That's why I've always seen these fail. Like when you throw them at trees, though, it will fail the other way. I noticed that too, because I saw somebody throwing these at a tree all the time. And most times it wouldn't fail, but sometimes it would fail. And I guess it was from the impact, and I guess it just pushed the liner this way instead of pushing it that way. But it never made his knife, not function or whatever. After he did it, he went back to using it. But the liner lock is not my favorite lock. But the Ti-Lite 6 is one of my favorite knives. I carried these for a lot of years. This is like my knife I used to carry all the time. I used to be into stilettos. Italian stilettos first were my first love. Oh yeah. But these to me are the best ones because they're just strong and they're inexpensive. To me, a stiletto should be a fairly inexpensive knife, not a super expensive knife. And the reason why is because a self-defense knife, if you're really using for self-defense, you may have to get rid of it. I don't want to go all into it, but I think you can understand what I'm saying. And so like Angelo Campolone, when I used to buy knives and sell them on eBay, I used to buy knives straight from Italy from Angelo, from Falcon Knives, AKC Armac Knives Company. And he used to tell me that I used to always ask him, how come they don't make, the higher quality, stilettos and stuff? He goes, well, these are supposed to be disposable. Because after you used to use, back in the old days when, they didn't have any lighting and stuff in Italy and stuff like in the different cities and stuff, it'd get real dark at night and people would hide out and rob people. And so your protection, they had stilettos and things like that for protection from, people that were going to rob them and thieves and stuff. And if you ever had to use it, he told me what they used to do is that they used to use them and then they go take them and throw them into the ocean. Get rid of the evidence. So they didn't really care about them having like the best steel or whatever because, to be honest, people, for a self-defense folder, it doesn't have to have best steel. You know what I mean? You can make a self-defense item out of pretty much anything. You can make, take plastic spoons and forks and melt them down and make sharp objects where you can stab people with them. It's like, you can make knives and things, people have been doing it for centuries and forever. And it doesn't take a powdered steel or something, a real fancy steel to make a great self-defense or fighting tool. Flesh is not that hard to penetrate. Anyway, that's getting kind of gross, huh? Let's move on. Kind of gross. All right. But anyway, where are we at? What's next? Oh, yeah, let's go to the Atlas lock. Let's go to the Mayhem. I love my Mayhem. I love this one too. This is the only one that has a lock type that's really meant for fidgeting. But I don't really consider this knife a fidgeter because it's just too big, people. And I think it's dangerous to fidget with something this big. Because if you mess up while you're fidgeting and this blade hits your hand, like I've had several people tell me they've had some bad accidents with these. And so, this is one that demands respect. It demands it. Because it's super fast. This knife is super fast. And I absolutely love them. I think the Mayhem rocks. It absolutely rocks, people. Absolutely rocks. There we go, like that. Get a reverse finger flick. Absolutely rocks. And it's beautiful. Isn't that sexy? That's one sexy blade. And this is a Japanese AUS 10A blade also. Beautiful. Absolutely love it. And this one's been totally taken apart. I dyed it purple with royal purple. It used to be gray and black. Now it's like black and purple. Polished the blade. I buffed it, didn't polish, didn't, wet sand it or whatever. It's just been buffed. Put a snaggletooth on it. And this works really good with the snaggletooth, people. It really works good with the snaggletooth. Absolutely love it. Beautiful knife. It feels good in hand, even though it's heavy. This is like the heaviest knife that I really try to carry a lot. Because I also have the Raja. Was it the Raja 2? I also have those. But the reason why you don't see them out here because I don't carry them. You know, I've tried to carry them back in the days, but it was just too big and heavy of a knife. I love the knife, but it's just too big and heavy. And that's sort of like the same category that this one goes into too, where it's just too big and heavy for me to want to really EDC it. But sometimes I carry it because it's just fun to have it sometimes and let people see it and stuff like that. So I put up with the weight. But I really wish it was lighter. I wish that this one was lighter, or they made a Atlas lock with the 5.5 inch blade. It's a mega folder that is a lighter, you know, something like more like one of these. It doesn't have to be this big. That's a little bit too big. You know, it's like this one. This one is like, you know, but you know, traditionally those espadas were big. They were like really long. They were supposed to be like swords, folding swords, because they banned the swords for the common people. And so they made big, giant folding knives. And they were the navajas. Navajas. The Spanish navaja. That's what they had for self-defense. We're talking about the days back, you know, before guns and things. And, you know, if they did have guns, they were like black powder guns. So you'd have one shot. And what do you do after that? What happens if you didn't? You make a fatal wound or even miss. You know, what do you do after that? The other person's going to be coming after you. And so, you know, you had to have something else. And so people still carried knives and swords and things like that. And so in Spain, and a lot of the Mediterranean areas, they carried, you know, Persian-style knives, you know, real fancy Persian-style knives. The Persian-style knives were like a status symbol type knife. And that's what this one is supposed to represent. It's like a Persian-style knife. It's got the Persian-style shaped upswept blade. I just love these. I love these. This is my favorite, people. Talwar. I like it the best. I think it's the best. But this one, this is a serious blade. This one right here is the Japanese AUS 10A one. I'm not sure what kind of coating that is. I'm not sure. I don't want to say it's DLC, people, because it doesn't look like DLC to me. It looks more like a PVD, like a PVD or a Serrated or something like that. But it could be the new style, you know, the new flat finish DLC. But I'm not sure what it is, people. So I'm not going to say what kind of coating this is. I'll just say it's black coating, and I think it looks cool. I think it looks cool. And this knife is not going to really get used. This one's more of a collector and more of a fun knife to own. Sort of like this one. Sometimes I just get knives that I just want to own. I just think they're fun to own. You know, sure, it could be a serious self-defense, you know, combat knife if it needed to be, because that's what it was meant to be. It's the real deal. It's not a toy. But it's not one I want to carry, people. It's just too big. It's too big. Now, I can understand, you know, a big knife is cool because, you know, you got reach and everything else like that. But, you know, to be carrying around all the time, nah. And me, I'm one of those people with, you know, I've been cursed with the flat behind. And so, you know, big knives and things like that, because I don't like to wear suspenders and stuff, they'll pull down my pants. And so, you know, that's not cool for me. But I just can't stop touching this one. Oh, man. I don't know why. I'm just attracted to this new Espada. And I've had Espadas all these times. Just this one, I don't know, for some reason. Maybe it's got maybe somebody put some magic spell on it or something. I don't know. I just love it. I just love this one. I just love it. Love the Espada. The Espada. The Talwar. And the Voyager are my main ones to carry, people. I like to carry the Frenzy too, though. But the Frenzy, I don't think of it as like a super great self-defense folder. Why? Why? Let me tell you why I'm telling you this. Is because the grip is not the greatest. I mean, it's what makes this one so cool is that it's super thin and super slim. And it's super lightweight and it's super easy to conceal. And you can carry this all day. and you won't even know it's in your pocket. And if you do need it for self-defense, it is very intimidating because it's got a nice big long blade. Warren style blade, whatever you want. I think that's what Warrenclyffe, or is that a sheep's foot or Warrenclyffe, whatever, I don't know. But it's got a beautiful blade. It's designed after a Japanese knife that was used for getting through armor, Japanese armor. I forget the name of that kind of blade. It's a beautiful knife. This one's got an aluminum backspacer also. 6061 aluminum backspacer with the G10 handle scales. I was going to do this one in purple, but I had another set of scales that I had bought a long time ago for Frenzy that I was going to do. I never did do them, and I couldn't find the scales, so I'm not going to do this in purple. I'm just going to leave this one the way it is, because I don't think purple will work with this color of blue. I think it'd come out too dark. It'd be like black. It'd be like almost like black, so it'd be a little bit too dark. So I'd rather just leave this one blue, so I'm going to leave it blue. I know Rob at Snaggletooth, he sent me a purple Snaggletooth and everything for this one, because I was going to swap the scales out, but I couldn't find the scales. So I still have the purple Snaggletooth for a Frenzy. So I might get another Frenzy or something. If I could find one with the gray handle scales, I might get one of those and then do that one. But that's down the road. I'm not really worried about right now. What the knives I want to get for this year are the new extra large. I'm talking about mega folders. The new extra large Recon 1. And it's coming back a CTS XHP with the Bowie or clip style blade. And so that's one of the big ones I really want to get for this next year. I also want to get the new Frenzy, this new 3.5-inch blacked out Frenzy too. I know they got them up right now, but right now I got to get ready to pay my taxes, so I'm not really into buying knives right now. I got to get ready for some other bills. Anyway, people, I just want to put this out there and haven't talked to you all in a while because I've been working a lot, been trying to get in some overtime so I get ready to pay my taxes. I always have to pay taxes, people. I'm a working class person, and with the amount of income I make, I get put in that tax bracket where you have to pay a lot of taxes all the damn time. Excuse my language. All the time. But so I got to get ready to pay my taxes. So I'm not buying knives right now. I'm just getting ready to pay Uncle Sam. But anyway, people, hope everybody's having a great time out there. Peace out. Stiletto.